Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss. Guys, we're People's Choice Podcast Awards nominee. One time I'm going to get it. I'm going to just say it perfectly clear the first time.
You're going to get it right
tongue twister.
when they announce that we won it.
Yeah, so this is the last week we're going to be able to say that because next week.
I thought we said that last week.
We find out. Next week we find out. So everyone make sure if you got that email, please vote for us again. And we're excited to find out, man. Maybe get some hardware here soon, which would be awesome. So really looking forward to that. And then, guys, maybe the most exciting news coming out of this Monday night game is we are still the NFC leaders.
Yeah.
East leaders. NFC East leaders.
Nobody would have thought.
I was not.
Nobody. That's how you know the NFL is the best, longest reality show of all time.
It is. That's a great point, Fred, because you never know. Who would have thought that Tampa Bay would have lost to the Broncos?
Who would have thought that Minnesota would be leaving the North right now with Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold. I was going to say that. I mean, Sam Darnold. Who would have thought, what his name is, Patrick Willis? What is it? James Willis? Patrick Willis, the quarterback over there in Green Bay. What is his name?
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Where the hell I get Patrick James
Because he was a middle linebacker for the
49ers. Gotcha. But who would have thought he'd be looking so good over there?
Sometimes it all it takes is like, I am one of them players that I am serious about coaching to players. Yeah. Like, it's easy to be with the wrong coach and then y'all can say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, and like Matt LaFleur, like to your point, like, what he's having him do there, like everyone wanted Mike Vrabel to do that in Tennessee. And he never really compromised his vision, and I don't know, man.
But
I feel
if anybody can get it done with the quarterback position, with that offense that Matt LaFleur them run, it would be a guy like Matt, Kyle, because Kyle showed you he did it here with RG.
Y'all got to go and start speaking on McConnell. He part of that tree, too.
O'Connell. O'Connell.
Yeah.
Not McConnell.
I thought it was O'Connell.
You're thinking of I said O'Connell. Don't do that. Don't do that now.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but and then there's the Cowboys, who I don't know what to say about them.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Coming into the season, I didn't have high hopes for these guys. Like, don't get me wrong, the last few years, they've been dominant.
Who are you talking about?
For the Cowboys. But just knowing that we took so much away from their defense, you can bring in who you want to bring in and whatever guru you think. But when you got that much taken away, it's hard to see the same output. You understand? I mean, you can have a couple of key names here and there, but I knew the output wasn't going to be the same.
They lost a lot of players. They got more expensive, and they got older.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that mixture right there is not good. All right. They said, let's fix the running game. They brought back Zeke at 39 years old. All right. They was like, all right, well, defense, what we going to add to it? Absolutely nothing. All right. Like, we're going to get a different coordinator. Well, guess what? This coordinator don't know how to weaponize Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
All right, so listen, I'm seeing what's going on over there, and I'm loving it. All right, and guess what? It has a lot to do with Jerry Jones, too.
I was going to get to that point about Jerry. How do you feel about him saying that he couldn't afford the running back, your boy Henry?
Ain't you America's team?
But I'm like, you sat there and
First of all,
held.
They got $24 million of cap space.
Exactly.
Oh, do they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so to me that was a bunch of hoopla, you know?
Is that including the contract extension that they just gave?
Yeah, with that.
They still got $24 million.
Still got 24.
Wow.
But, they're trying to say that for Michael Parsons, but I could see a scenario where Michael Parsons like, you know what, I'm coming out my worst year ever. I might not want to be here no more.
Well, I keep thinking about that in terms of saving cap space for this team. Like, talk about a guy that's got a great relationship with Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
And talk about upping your pass rush immediately.
Immediately.
You'd have to give him a max contract, but if there's a guy you want to give a max contract
I'm going to say, get a max where the max deserve to be.
Yeah.
All right? I'll take Michael Parsons any day.
That's a max.
So I think that would be awesome for sure. But, yeah, and again, I just feel like every time I'm watching the news and they're talking about Dallas, it's like – the fans are like revolting in the stadium. The players are fighting on the sideline. Could you imagine if they lose another game?
I am enjoying watching the fan base of Dallas because I got family members that's Dallas fans.
You got family members too, right, Taylor?
This Dallas fan. And guess what? I can ask them, man, how you feel about your squad, man? So it's like for the first time, they are actually looking through the same lenses as the rest of us.
Yeah.
It's sobering to them, and they have no expectations. Like, their expectations are dead. Like, listen, our arrow is pointed this way.
Sideways?
It might be sideways or it's pointed down.
But I think it's also really frustrating if you're a Dallas fan because you just paid the quarterback and you just paid the receiver. So you'd expect them to be performing well.
He just act like a brat on the sideline this week. CD Lamb. See, that's why I'd rather have Santana Mosses and Terry McLaurin as wide receiver because I got no time for that diva. Like, that's what I can say. Thank Lord I have never really had a diva receiver because I ain't good with that because I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
Right? So, at the end of the day, I love to have just work hat guys.
To each his own, though. I mean, I think it comes with the job. I feel that if you ain't talking or if you ain't calling your number, you don't get that recognition or get those attempts. So, but the thing about it also, you have to show up, and that's one of the things that when you see the kid over there in San Fran, he held out, And now it's like every week they pointing out a drop ball here, a drop ball there. So you
not
can't,
getting the yards.
You got to know who you really are. It's certain guys can say, I'm a diva, I'm gonna sit out, I'm gonna get this money first. Or it's other guys that's like myself was like, look, man, I'm gonna go out here and work.
However it comes.
Hopefully this stuff that I'm putting in that give you enough confidence to say pay me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I will say the one thing about the Washington Commanders, man, is they got a bunch of guys who are willing to work hard. And
bunch of hard heads.
After watching that Monday Night Football game, man.
So excited. Listen.
And I know I got to say this, everyone's like, oh, we're back, we're in it. It's one game.
Yeah.
But it is a good game.
Listen, you know how you start drinking some of that sweet tea and you thought you were finna take a sip and you just can't let it down? Yeah. Like, you can be happy. Like fans, can be happy. Like everybody acting like, oh, I just don't want to get ahead of myself. No. Enjoy what just happened in Cincinnati. What we did, like, listen, the week before that, I said we got to get over this giant hump because we can't beat the Giants. We did that. So all of these things that been hanging over our head, we're striking them off. We're checking them off. All right, you're not good on national TV. Okay, check that off. All right, we just did that against what people call the 1B, the second best quarterback in the league. We went out there, we beat them at his house, celebrate, enjoy it. I don't think we had a victory like this since the New Orleans game with RG3?
Yeah, some people would say like when we busted the streak for Philadelphia, we broke their undefeated season.
The Steelers.
The Steelers, right? But this feels
this feels long term.
This feels different to me because it's like it's optimistic as opposed to those felt like we got to win.
Pessimistic,
we got to win.
So what? We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, with Taylor Heineke, and again, like I like Taylor Heineke, but there's no future there. It feels like, especially with how Jane Daniels played, there's a future. Maybe.
I think also when you look at it, just watching the whole, I guess you can say, when the guys talk about the game before the game start, all the different networks, ESPNs, you name it. And you see everybody how when they mention the Washington Commanders, it's almost like an immediately like, oh, yeah, these guys ain't going nowhere. They suck, so we're going against them. But then just see us go out there and play. And not only us just play as a whole, when you see your quarterback make everyone else better, you know what I mean? When your quarterback got everyone playing at a high level because of what he's going out there and displaying play after play, that's what stands out to me. So, man, I'm ecstatic. Be ecstatic. If you're a fan, be ecstatic and just look forward to seeing these guys go out there and play that hard every week.
I think that's a great point, Tana, playing hard every week, because I think when you're seeing kind of how the team is built, it's a bunch of guys like fighting for each other, like the O-line, the way they played, the way they competed, the way they got after it, the way Jane Daniels is competing, the way Luke McCaffrey, the offense, Terry McLaurin is competing for those 50-50 balls. And, the defense struggled, but I thought there were signs.
Bend but don't break.
Signs of that competitive undertone, like you guys were talking about Johnny Newton. Like running down receivers.
You saw that.
Mike Sanderstill making explosive tackles
Jeremy
on screens.
Chin.
Dude, he
making plays.
Good, man.
Making plays.
Like there was that cover two or that two-man where they're disguising one. And the amount of grass that he covered and the physicality that he's playing with, it's all very positive.
I mean, if you want to call some names, let me give Coleman his flowers, man. Hey, when I say they made a whole highlight reel of his blocks the other night, and I mean it was like that 91 kid we talked about coming into the game.
Dude, he's a good player,
bro. Did you not see him limp to the sideline? Coleman he could have been on the doggone ESPN pancake thing.
I've seen them guys. They got physical out there, like you said. Coleman had a great game, but Eckler. Listen to me, man.
Oh my God.
Austin, they were like, hey, they wrote this dude off and he ain't right back. At the end of the day, dude, that kickoff return, like, imagine this. You in your 8th, 9th year, you find out that I'm good at something else. I can actually return kicks, something I ain't never been asked to do.
But it's almost like watching him do it. It's like him being a part of the offense all over again, just saying this is a run from. This is an average run. This is an average, between the tackle run.
Talk sweet.
That I have so much room to work with, and all I have to do is make one cut. Because I'm watching him
break one tackle.
I'm like, they set this up for running backs to be special back here. And he's showing you what a running back can do that has been special all his career if you give him opportunity. So
and I think the other crazy thing about Eckler is like in this NFL now where it's becoming harder to throw the football, defenses are fighting back, all those kind of narratives, like he's the guy that gives you explosives. Like think about this game. explosive touchdown run, explosive kickoff return.
Yep.
The week prior, explosive 15-yard gain on a draw.
He also caught the ball well.
Screen, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a guy that gives you so much explosive juice from the backfield. Obviously, B-Rob's done an excellent job running between the tackles, being physical. But when you have a back that can help you find those explosive opportunities, like, think about it. He accounted for 14 points in this game.
Easily.
You know, and I think, like, if you look back to last week, obviously it's field goals, but huge chunk plays throughout the field. He's going to be a tough loss if he doesn't play against Arizona. We'll talk about that more when we preview it. But, man, what a nice find. What a nice ad. Zach Ertz late in that game. Catching those fourth down balls and, like, the savvy, the feel and coverage.
You know what? I have to give Jaden Daniels a lot of props because after Allegretti got that fumble,
that's right.
back, he went right back to him the next play. This showing that, man, we gonna keep going.
Nah, he's a quarterback, bro. He's before his time, man.
Yeah.
You watch some of the things he's doing. I mean, he's mature among his years, and it's crazy because when you watch him do things, you're saying to yourself, he's not making decisions or mistakes that young guys. We're giving these guys to make these mistakes, especially looking at Caleb and how things are going for him. And you can't blame everything on him, but you giving him almost a layup. Say, hey, man, we okay if you don't know what to do in this situation. But he finds a way to get it done. So
the amazing thing is, he's still out there playing and not knowing everything and getting it done. Like, this is the worst he gonna be. This is his floor right here. That's why people need to be excited. This is his floor. He's only gonna get better when he gets like. I'm starting to see levels of everything slowing down for him.
That's what it felt like in the game.
It felt like that, right? It felt like that after the game before this when he took that hit. He came back in and like, okay, it's slowing down. Now I seen it slow down enough, and you know how it is. This league is really confidence. Like, who got confidence in himself? And I can say this, out of all the rookie quarterbacks, he has a team that believes and trusts and follows him. I don't think the other guys have garnished that from their team yet. I think he has.
I mean, his leadership role too. I think you yet to see a guy come in with that kind of given to him. Like, okay, you the quarterback, so you the leader, but actually go out there and tell the coaches, man, run this play, let's go. Or tell your players, man, we can't do that. You jumping offside, we can't do that. And also, I want to make a point early in the game. Noah Brown wide open in the middle of the field. And he was hesitant. He ended up taking a sack for it. He came back the next two that same drive and hit two guys that was in similar situations that Noah was in. Just trusting his guys. Like, you know what? I didn't trust him that time. I saw that linebacker. I didn't want to try to knife it in there. I didn't want to layer it in there. But now I'm going to layer it in here on this fourth down to my young rookie, McCaffrey, and let him go make a play for me. So I watch stuff like that and seeing a guy, basically correcting himself throughout the game.
How about the Brown brothers? How about the Blues Browns brothers? How about Diami and Noah?
Yeah, 1 second though. Let's because I want to double click on this Jaden thing because there's so much good stuff happening there. So, like, first off, historic performance, 21 to 23. That's the highest completion percentage for any rookie player ever, right, in the history of the NFL. The decision-making when to scramble. You mentioned the confidence and how they've brought him along slowly. I think they've done a great job. Think about how they managed Caleb Williams in Chicago, and you're the guy, you're going to save the thing.
And threw the whole playbook at him.
And here it's like, we're going to make you earn it. You're going to come along. We've got a great ecosystem around you. Great job by Adam Peters. Great job by Dan Quinn. Like, they've just – and again, there's a lot of games left, and there's going to be ups and downs, no doubt. But I think this is just a testament to their evaluation, to how they've treated him, and then the kind of guy they've got in, like to Tana's point, like – his composure, his leadership is special. And again, like, I don't expect him to break a record for incompletion percentage every single week. But God bless, man. He played an excellent football game. And then to put the cherry on top is, like, Cliff is calling games to make him not only make him better, but to make the offensive line better. Like, think about the shot they take. They earn that shot. They're not pushing the football down the field. They've got chip help. Terry runs a great route, but it's not like they're taking shots on the field all the time. They're methodically earning those opportunities. And I just say to myself, like, that is the whole process around him. And again, long season left to go, has been special. And I think this game is kind of, to your point, Fred, like his coming out party a little bit, like where it kind of slowed down enough for him. And
take a bow, young man. You get out there, you introduce yourself to the world, and now here go the thing, though. They're going to want more. They're going to want more.
I mean, he answered it well, too, though. I mean, he's like, bro, I put in work for this. I mean, this ain't something that just –
it ain't given to me.
Snap your finger and I come out here and perform. Like, the work I put in, I should perform this way. So that's something that I look forward to seeing each and every week now, because it's not like – we didn't just see this in one game. We've been seeing the buildup. You know, we've been seeing the build up from the practices. We saw a couple of plays here and there in the preseason when he got a chance, and then every week so far this regular season, he has shown us that, hey, I'm getting more confident in what I'm seeing, and we know it's all about reps. The more he's out there, the more things is going to settle, the more things is going to slow down, and the more comfortable he'll be with that team. That's one of the things that I came into the season looking forward to. You know, we get caught up on the wins and losses. Yeah, it's fine then. I want to win. I want to win more than we lose, but I also want to see a team grow together.
It's about growth.
And become a team. And when you become a team, then you can go out there and put up performance like that every other week.
And it really felt, and maybe Fred, you might feel differently, but it really felt like that was the performance. Yeah. This Monday night game was the performance that got them there. You know what I'm saying? Like they galvanized. They had tough opportunities. They faced adversity, fourth down conversions, and yeah, man, it's just it's cool to see.
It feel good, and that's why I tell the fans it's okay to be happy.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jason. He was like, I'm kind of nervous. I don't want to just things could go down here. It could do that for any team. Yeah. It could do that for any team. But while you got this happy spot, while you can go to the Kool-Aid at work right now and look a Cowboy fan in the face and say, you know how we feel? You know what's going on with us right now? To be able to talk to a Giants fan and laugh at them right now, you go do that. All right, you go do that. You go tell that Philadelphia fan, I thought y'all were going to the Super Bowl. Yeah. You tell them that this week.
And I also think to that point, Fred, of being happy and celebrating. It's like, there's going to be ups and downs. He's going to have bad performances.
Be ready for it.
But this performance, objectively, was amazing.
It was.
Celebrate it. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
And I think again, like it's a one piece. It's a foundational piece, but there's a lot of exciting stuff.
Can't let the past affect the future. Yeah. That's what we're doing as a fan base.
You also could take a lot from a performance like this, too, because what it shows you as a team is that when in doubt, if we ever going through one of them hard spots, in a game, that we showing ourselves, I guess you can say, prevail and make it through. And, it was tough situations in that game where they say, you know what, I'm trusting y'all. Go make a play.
Yeah. Fourth down.
We was 3 for 3 on what? Fourth down.
You stay over there. You are a holder. Like this is what
Pro Bowl holder.
This is what Jay Daniels did to Tress Way. He said, you know what, give me your jersey number. Tress said, okay. He said, in return, you'll never work again. In return, you, Tress Way, are not a punter no more. You are a certified holder, right? So listen, the next time Tress Way go punt, we don't know what to do.
Why?
2 weeks, have any punter went 2 weeks without punting?
Yeah. I think it's happened. I think I just saw someone on Instagram. It's happened 4 times, like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees.
Elite quarterbacks
have all done it. They've done it one time over the course of their career, and he's done it already
twice
in his first 3 games. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, no drive is over with this guy on the field, and you gotta love that. Tress Way, best holder, Pro Bowl holder in the league.
And, and just from like a football analytics perspective, his decision making about when to scramble and getting you from a 2nd and 10 to a 3rd and 2, is so invaluable to an offense. You're never in a bad spot with that's what it feels like as a play caller. Like when you're watching it, you're like, man, like this is a tough down and distance, 2nd and 10. Oh, it's covered up. Oh shoot, he just scrambled. It's 3rd and 1.
It's 6 yards. 8
what
yards.
About the D coordinator on the other sideline? He is shaking in his boots on 3rd and 2 because what can he's paralyzing my play calling because if I put him in man and my defensive backs turn their back to him, he might run beside them. Right? If I play zone, they might run B-Rob downhill. Like, it's paralyzing them.
And even on there was a 4th and 1 run where they ran a zone read, and the defensive coordinator, at least to my eye, has the right call on. They're pinching the defensive end, so the quarterback's going to pull it, and then you're blitzing the nickel off the edge. And he puts his foot in the ground, knifes in there, gets the first down. I'm like,
excuse me.
And I'm like, as the DC, I'm like, that's the call I want.
That's the perfect
I don't know
call.
If I want
it don't work.
And he went out there and played football. Like, all right.
And so just the ability to elevate the offense like that is something that we haven't seen here for a couple of years. And a lot of teams around the NFL are looking for it. And so for him to show signs of that is pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
So the other thing I want to ask you about, obviously
a
lot of positive stuff offensively.
So much.
Defense. We mentioned a couple positive things.
It wasn't bad as you thought. We just played against the 2nd best quarterback in the league. It's certain people you won't stop.
Definitely top 3.
You won't. If I was playing against Joe Montana and Jerry Rice in my prime, we just trying to win the game because we're stopping them just not going to happen.
Right.
Like sometimes you need to understand when you're playing Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison, to win is to win the game. We went there on the road. The defense bend but didn't break. They made plays. time-appropriate plays. Do we want it to look good? Everybody wants their dinner served up a certain way, but long as the steak tastes good, I don't need it to look like art. I need it to look and taste the same.
It could be from Outback or DC Prime.
I don't care. I don't care.
At the end of the day, what it's going to do, full me up, right?
Fill me up.
And the thing that I say about the defense, being resilient. I mean, bro, you went out there and let these guys put up 33. Now, that last drive, I don't really count that one. But these guys got 33 points on you. And at the end of the day, in the red zone, it couldn't find a way to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
We sat there, put our backs against the wall. Some of the things that I listened to Fred and them talk about for years. I love that red zone because I got that back pylon.
It's short field.
I ain't got to worry about, you know what I mean? I sit there, I just be like, why they always talk about this red zone? Like, we don't love it either.
Yeah.
We don't love it too. So when I sat back there and I watched them, you know, from the seat I was in, I'm like, all right, we in the red zone, Fred. Them say, you got help.
Window that small now.
Don't worry about all that. Let's play covers. Let's play. And they did that. So they was resilient at times when we need them the most. And I will always I would rather give up a field goal anytime, any day. Especially when our offense.
In that game.
Bingo. Especially when our offense out there playing the way they playing. So I get hats off to them as a team, man, as a whole. Yeah, the offense went out there and handled business. Defensively, man, we needed y'all to make stops when y'all did. And y'all did just that.
Yeah, and I say that the only reason we love the red zone, the play has to happen now. Ain't no such thing as extended plays. Extended plays get you in trouble down there. So that window is a Papa Smurf window, and that's a very small window. So I just need to be where I need to be. Like, I can literally take away plays in the red zone by my stance, where my body at. Like, I'm not moving. Like, so it's a whole different way to play in the red zone. So I give these guys kudos. And special teams. Nobody like to talk about special teams. Special team was out there laying petrified wood.
They played a really I really hats off to Coach Izzo,
who was 57? Because I didn't look up his name on
Nick
the paper.
Benito.
Did you see him coming and hit that dude on the sideline?
They brought him in to play teams, so now they got him. They got Tyler Owens, Jamin Davis when he's out there, Jeremy Reeves.
Reeves came down there too, even enforced.
They're a problem, man, and I think that's going to be a competitive advantage for us. They've done he's done a good job.
Izzo brought that Izzo. He brought that Izzo to our special teams.
I used to hate playing against Izzo. He won't stop. He got them playing,
but they have that edge though.
I've been saying he got them playing in his identity.
And he's got a good, and I think the other thing you got to give him credit for is he's got a feel. Whatever they're doing from a wrinkle standpoint, however they're coaching it, that dynamic kickoff is an advantage for us right now. And again, we've got us, obviously, when Austin's back there, he's got a great feel. I think Igbenogany's got a good feel for it too. So, and the fact those guys are blocking it up so well and we're covering kicks so well, I mean, and it speaks to the kind of the competitiveness of the team. But back to the defense real quick. One of the things I wanted to say is, like, to me, this was the only way to win this game. Is bend but don't break, play soft coverage structures, try to limit the explosive play. I don't care if they run for 5,000 yards.
Don't care. Zach Mouse, I'm not afraid of you beating me.
Because Joe Burrow is scary. Like, when he's got the football in his hand, when he's in that pocket, man. His accuracy, his composure is impressive.
No, the way he IDs single high safety.
It
takes him a millisecond.
Hey, I would have loved to be with an offense where the quarterback just knew that if you try Tanner and don't cover, don't show coverage, I'm going at you. And when he did, bro, we was showing coverage the whole time. The first play we took that guy off of Chase, he hit him.
I'm going up top.
And I said, bro, how did
he see it?
That's insane. No, like, that's just knowing that.
It looked like cover 3 to me.
No, he processed it. But these boys they've been together so long. If you got a quarterback that you played with in college and y'all went for 1 million yards in college, y'all got to the league, went for 1.5 million, y'all have a rapport that y'all understand. So it just signals. Like, I watched Jamar Chase stack our guy. And he did this with his left hand. I watched him do this with his left hand. The ball was already gone. I said, man, because I like to pick up on subtleties. Then the second time, he did the same exact thing. And we talked about the gear that Jamar Chase got when the ball in the air. It's totally different.
It's special. Like, because I played with guys.
I know how I feel to have those gears.
But I played.
Me too. You know the last time I took out running down the street in VA, I got a ticket for speed.
Hey, I did that just for him. I did that for him.
Set him up.
I just threw the layup for him. I knew it.
That's so funny. But yeah, he's special in that way. Like, he kind of reminds me of a young Santana Moss. Like, that ability to get to the edge.
And to switch gears.
Run by somebody. Like, they're trying to contact you. Like, we were talking about this earlier. Like, I thought St. Jude's was in a good spot.
Great spot.
And then
until he would.
And then, then you watch. I told you I watched like probably 50 Jamar Chase deep balls. Like, he does it to everybody. Like, they're in a good phase, and I don't know if it's his strength. I don't know if it's acceleration.
It's similar to what Terry did at the end.
Yeah.
That ball was gone before Terry even got beside the receiver. Terry hit that gear.
He hit the gear, and then he had to slow it down.
He hit the gear. Like, okay, now let me make sure I get this knee in here too. You know what I'm saying?
And we're going to talk about that play on the Command Center show.
Yeah,
we're going to do a video breakdown of that, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, and the one thing I'd say, one criticism I think to the defense is we got to figure out run fits a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're doing a good job. Like, I like the plan. I think we're executing okay, but it's the run fits just seem like when I'm watching the film, I'm like, this can't be. Yeah. Like, someone's got to be making a mistake.
But it can be fixed.
I'm confident in it.
Yes, it can be fixed.
They'll get it together because you see them right there, and it's like they make the wrong decision or two here and there, and you say, if you just butted that guy up in the hole, now he would have had his behind in the hole instead of you trying to olay him. You know what I mean? So they'll get it together.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's something, again, I trust Joe Witt Jr., trust Dan Quinn, trust that defensive staff, because every week, quite frankly, they've gotten better and better. So hopefully hopefully it happens fast, but we'll see. All right, quick kind of side note storylines coming out of the game. Cam Taylor-Britt said that's a nice college offense. I heard Jaden Daniels' passing percentage is very high, but he's only throwing short routes, some intermediate stuff, and quick throws.
Until he played you.
But to be fair to him, like, that's what they were doing before. Yeah. And they just missed the deep stuff.
What he ain't understanding is the offense was 2 games old.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't put everything in. I heard nagging after the first week in Tampa. We don't motion nobody. We start motioning people. He's layering the playbook for the team and for the quarterback. This offense won't look like it looks now in week 12.
And I'm really glad you brought that up because they get to some of their, like, the stuff you get from motion, they get to it with personnel, so the people in the game and the formations they're in. So that's how they get it. And I know that's a little unconventional. That feels very collegey, but it's, after watching how he utilizes it, it's like a master class in how to use those two things to maximize what the quarterback is seeing. So they don't need to motion as much as another team because they have variety in those other areas.
Man, Cliff was in his bag so much to where it was at times where I just knew it was a run play because I saw it before, and he got ready to. He faked the run and boom, hit the guy right now. I'm like, bro, that's when you got the defense in your palm of your hand.
Talking about that one to Terry?
Yeah, you saw that? Like, I just knew we finna run the ball with doggone Eckler or somebody, and he just found a way to get the ball out.
He's displacing tight ends in a way nobody is. He got tight ends doing wide receiver motions.
Well, I think that's the thing when you bring Zach Ertz in. Yeah. You have a mobile piece like Zach is. Like, you can do stuff like that with him.
And then you got 2 guys in Senate, and you got the guy in Bates.
They're nasty,
those guys are just up top, just dominating. You know, you put them on the line, just get them a different number. They out there killing people.
Dude, we talked about the physicality that we saw. Like, Bates, man, is getting after people.
Nah, he's playing.
Senate is getting after people.
He the reason that Eckler broke that run.
He's able to run with him and get that block in. But yeah, so obviously Jaden Daniels has a really productive day. Yeah. Explosive plays. Yeah. Kudos to Cam Britt because he's like, yes, I can eat my words, definitely. We take that L today.
Hey, first of all, come to the Fred Smoot class
material.
Trash talk. All right, first of all,
Fred knows best.
Do not talk trash before the game.
Yeah.
Talk trash during the game.
Yeah, teach him something, Fred.
Let me get a feel for how this thing gonna go before I give you 5 days.
But you would talk before though. You talk all the time.
Not really, because I don't want to come out there with the bullseye already on. Because if you talk noise early in the week, the office gonna say these 5 plays are for Fred.
We going
at him. All right, so I get out there in the game and I start yapping and laughing when the game starts. And then after the game, then I'm gonna let you know how I feel. All right, so Taylor Britt, if you would have just talked noise during the game, you wouldn't have to ask no questions after the game. That's what it is.
And we did a segment on the last show about who was going to catch Jaden Daniels' first touchdown pass.
And everybody in America got it wrong.
Yeah.
Man.
All of us got it wrong.
Yeah, so obviously Trent Scott scores the first touchdown, and he is the first offensive lineman since Joe Jacoby to score a touchdown. Yeah. But we have,
But Joe said.
Hannah.
Yeah, but Joe said he is the offensive lineman that caught a touchdown.
Yeah, so.
Not a tight end checked in as a lineman.
So Hannah, who does Hail Tails, not Hail's Tails, Hail Tails.
You finally got that right.
Thank you, appreciate it. She texted him because she's cool like that.
Yeah.
And she goes, hey, first time an offensive lineman scored a touchdown for Washington since you in 1984.
84.
And it's like, wow, it's good to be back talking about people.
I was 5 years old.
And his first thing was like, no. He reported as a tight end in that formation, so I'm still the only old lineman to score a TD.
Joe Jacoby. Joe Jacoby, baby. And damn shame Hall of Fame.
Dude.
We got to get Joe Jacoby
Ain't that the truth?
into the Hall of Fame.
What is going on
B.
with
Mitch
that?
into the Hall of Fame. London Fletcher in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to have some shirts coming out soon. Watch out for them.
Dude, we got some swag,
That
some
is
cred
crazy.
swag.
Yeah, I'm coming out with my damn shame Hall of Fame shirt with Joe Jacoby.
I actually like that's pretty sick.
Yeah, with Joe Jacoby.
Make sure you go
B.
patent
Mitch
it, because
in London.
You done said it
I
on
know,
air.
yeah.
Somebody gonna run to the damn
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah, Jason just says he wants one. I'd wear one on this show.
Most definitely. I'm going to get something out to the fans, too.
I want to invest in it. I don't want one. I just want to.
Yeah, and that is patent pending. I know Fred probably legally hasn't done that yet.
Oh, no, my ex-wife is a lawyer. She still likes me.
Does she? All right. So Joe Jacoby, Hall of Fame. Is there anybody else that should be in the Hall of Fame? I'm not.
Well, I said Joe Jacoby. This is what I'm putting on this
B. Mitch.
shirt. Joe Jacoby, B. Mitch, London Fletcher.
Yeah.
Now, if y'all feel like Gary
Gary
Clark.
I'm
Now,
gonna say you can argue for Gary. You can argue for a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
so it's guys that, like, we got guys that are pending. You know how you get
Yeah.
something, it's pending?
Yeah.
Nah, put my money in the bank.
Yeah.
I don't need it pending.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a pretty good review of
Yeah.
everything that happened versus I almost said Arizona Cardinals, but that's coming up next, the Cincinnati Bengals. And so let's preview the Arizona Cardinals matchup. And this is kind of a revenge game a little bit. Revenge.
You know, revenge games come with a little stank on it.
Little stank on
A
them.
little stank on it.
People say, why is there stank? Cliff Kingsbury obviously used to coach here.
Yep.
Zach Ertz obviously used to play here.
Until they said you can't play anymore.
And then Dan Quinn lost them last year.
Yeah, he did to Josh
with
Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs as the quarterback. It probably stings a little bit. Ooh,
Yeah.
ouch.
Yep.
After we did the number to Josh Dobbs last year, they almost got us.
They almost got us too.
You're right.
Dude, Josh Dobbs
And don't
sneaky.
forget about Jaden Daniels went to Arizona State.
Yeah.
And after he transferred to LSU, his teammates shunned him.
They was-
so when he goes
they
back,
was
yeah, they
salty.
did. They talked
They
trash.
was salty.
They were salty at him.
Yeah.
And guess what? Antonio Pierce was a coach at Arizona State at this time.
Yeah.
So when he goes back to Arizona, I'm like, yeah, it's hate. I feel hate around
Yeah.
here.
Get in the air, smells delightful.
Yeah, listen, it ain't, and that's what we like. Like, NFL players love hate.
Yeah.
Like, I love to be hated. That means you're doing your job.
So obviously revenge on the – I don't know if revenge is on the mind of the players, but there are some good storylines there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, two rookies, right? We got Jaden Daniels and Marvin Harrison Jr. We're going to kind of get to that in the preview, but that's kind of a fun little
Yeah.
kind of thing. Who's going to play better? What was Harrison? He was a top 5 pick?
Yeah,
Yeah, both
I think
top
he went-
5
yeah.
picks.
I think he went 4. Actually.
Yeah, right. I couldn't remember exactly where it went. But let's start with the Arizona offense.
Yeah.
And obviously Kyler Murray's kind of at the genesis of that.
Yeah.
And to me, everyone's going to get Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, the kid from Stanford last
Yeah,
year.
he can
They've
play.
got a really good tight end in
James
McBride.
Conner can run.
They've got some really good skill position guys, but I was talking to you guys about this before. And with Arizona specifically, I feel like Kyler Murray's not great in obvious passing situations. Like he gets a little bit, he can't see stuff, he doesn't see
Jittery.
the blitz well. And so they're at their best to me when James Conner is cooking.
Yeah.
And he's scrambling he's scrambling on first and second down for big gains. So if you can kind of, to me, manage their ability to run the football effectively, I think it really limits how effective Kyler Murray can be.
Well, who best to tell you how to stop him than Cliff Kingsbury?
That's a great point.
Cliff Kingsbury coached him to the point where he knew his strengths and knew his weaknesses. He knew what he could do with him and knew what he couldn't. Now, if you want to stop Kyler Murray, don't let him on the edges.
Yeah.
Keep him inside the pocket, force him to beat you inside the pocket as a pocket passer, and now let the games begin. So I think we got to, like, if anybody has the solution of slowing him down, I think it's us. And I think it's all because of the coaching brainchild we got.
Yeah. And it's going to be a tough game regardless, because you think about it, they do have James Conner. They have seen the film that we allow, these guys to run the ball. So they're going to try to, I guess you can say oppose their will in that aspect of the game. But at the same time, he has to drop back. And when he does, he's one of those guys. He is at his best when he's doing all that stuff in the pocket and he finding ways to get out.
Yeah.
Those DBs have to be disciplined in the back end. You have to stick. You have to be sticky.
Yeah.
And then also those guys up front, man, when you put hands on them and bring them down, because the dude can scoop. You know what I mean?
Put your hands up is what you need to do.
Yeah, that too.
If we can knock down 3 or 4 passes in that game, them 4 downs you can't get back.
No doubt.
All right, so I think more than a sack, important, like a good defensive coordinator, if I had Greg Williams and we was playing him, he would tell our D-line, knocking down balls is more important than sacks this
game.
Yeah.
Because it takes away down.
And especially with Kyler Murray, because like when you're watching film, again, like I know people make a lot about his height, but there's times, like you mentioned, like they like to boot him out. They like to kind of do these little waggles where they're moving the pocket and he can get lines of vision down the field, or he likes to create
chaos.
Do it his own.
Right, kind of, be an agent of chaos. That's exactly right. But when he's in the pocket, like I feel like he can't see very well.
No, he can't.
And so when the D-line put their hands up, like there's times where you can see him trying
to see,
to look through. So I know that's kind of, that feels like, it's a cliche because he's short.
No.
But it shows up on film.
It's real.
No, Drew Brees did a great job of, Drew Brees he stayed on his toes, but he never threw over his offensive line. He threw between them.
And I was going to say, like I've had a couple conversations with guys that have coached with Drew Brees, and they were like, we were really smart about making sure we had two of the best guards in football to keep the depth of the pocket, a really good center, so we could get those throwing lanes you're describing. And when you look at the interior for Arizona, like they're fine players, but they're guys that have been around the block a little bit. You got Will Hernandez, you got Evan Brown, who are good players, but not great players. And I think it shows up, right? It shows up in terms of how that pocket collapses and how he can't see stuff. And you look at, again, they went toe-to-toe with the Bills in the first game, but they were able to get a lot of pass rush in the second half because they were able to slow down James Conner.
Well, and then you got to run Payne and John Allen, who used to Will Hernandez because Hernandez played in New York.
Yeah.
So they understand what they're dealing with internally with these guys. So, you're right. If we can dominate this line of scrimmage, it gives us a chance to slow them down.
Yes, Lord. We're going to need it. I mean, you saw last week, we're going to need it. And then not even just talking about Deron Payne, them guys, man. I mean, I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but let's talk about one of our guys that we saw was able to go out there and get his feet wet. Newton. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave me that. We know how to get those guys in and off the field, pretty well up there in our front line. And for him to come up there and show us how he was a guy that not only was he showing us hustle plays, he took on those blocks well, shedding blocks, making tackles. I mean, I remember it was 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3. The guy got 1 yard when he hit him. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for guys like that to see more from him each and every week.
And he's playing his way into shape. That was, like I said, it's sky's the limit with these guys because they all playing their way into shape.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think, obviously, the interior's got to play well. The edges got to play well. They like to run a lot of these kind of gun gap scheme runs where they're pulling guys. Up to this point, the Commanders' defense has had a hard time with that. So Frankie Lubu, Bobby Wagner, Jeremy Chin, when he's that extra run defender, can you guys get that communicated so that we can get this stopped up? Because this offense, it looks different. Like when they played Detroit, they just played Detroit last week or this last weekend, and Detroit was basically like, you're not running the football.
No.
And we are going to be physical. We're going to be nasty. And their offense, they scored 10 points in the first quarter and didn't score again after that.
Yeah.
And you know how many yards per rush James Conner averaged?
How many?
2.9?
1.
Wow.
1 yard a rush.
1 yard a rush to get you sent home where I'm from.
But the week prior he has 120.
Oh, he's a good back in his NFL.
So that means we need to take a page out of Detroit's book,
I
right?
think so, and just be physical. And they played a lot of man. They were very aggressive. And I do think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a good player, but he doesn't look like he's quite in shape yet when you watch him in terms of like ability to win in tight man. Like he wins late in the down.
Yeah.
Michael Wilson, very similar. Trey McBride's got a good man-to-man feel, but I think you could man up in certain situations more than you could versus
Jamar Chase.
Yeah, versus Cincinnati, because Joe Burrow's going to kill you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Murray's excellent.
Yeah.
But he's not that level.
He's not a precision passer like
those
that.
Opportunities
and he's not a guy that's going to identify as quick as Joe did what coverage I'm going
correct,
against. Because what he want to do, Murray, is he don't care about what coverage you're in. He want it to break down.
Yeah.
Like Joe don't care about it breaking down. I'm throwing to the weakness.
He's almost banking on it breaking down.
Yeah.
So now he can be special.
Now he can be special. Now if you do your disciplines, you do what you're supposed to do.
That's why I say being disciplined in the back end.
The defense will never break down.
Yeah, you sit there in coverage and say, all right, pick it. Go ahead.
Throw it. Take what we're going to give you.
Keep him in the pocket and say, we're going to sit back in cover. Now throw the ball. You feel me?
So this big week, obviously, stopping the run. Very different kind of in terms of, it's interesting how each week presents something different. Cincinnati, it's like, want them to run the ball, play soft coverages. Here, it's like, you can be more aggressive with the coverage structures. Let's stop the run, and let's disrupt Kyler Murray as a passer.
Yeah.
And don't let him run.
Don't let him run.
Maybe there's a spy involved, something like that. But this feels like a good matchup if you can kind of build around stopping the run.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the Arizona defense. Mike Clay, who is an analyst or something, I don't know who that is exactly, but sorry, Mike Clay.
Way to hate on him.
Yeah. So he picked the Cardinals to allow the most points on defense in 2024. So he doesn't think they're going to be a good defense. Through the first 3 games, they're the 19th ranked defense in the NFL. They've played the Buffalo Bills, who look
unstoppable,
phenomenal.
Yep.
They played the Detroit Lions, who also look very good, and they're playing a banged up LA Rams team who have Matthew Stafford and still are a very good offense, even though they've got some injuries. So my question, I have my thoughts, but I'd like to get your guys' perspective, is why are they 19th and not 32nd in the NFL?
Because they got some scrappy guys like Buda Baker and the rest of those guys that refuse to believe what your boy Clay is talking about, because Clay don't play football. Right? So they are saying is, we're going to go out here and show you. You just brought something up. We played against Josh Allen in an unstoppable Bills defense. Offense. We came back, played against Detroit, which both of these teams, people are picking as Super Bowl possibles. All right, then we go play the Rams, who I think is a legit team. They just cannot stay healthy.
Yeah, they can't stay healthy.
And they're still 19.
They're a good team.
This is a good defense. Might not be a great defense. Nobody say they are Pittsburgh still a defense. They are a good defense. They got some good players on it. They doing the same thing our defense doing, and they are learning how to play under their new head coach.
I was going to say they bought into the whole scheme of things. That's one of the things that stand out to me watching film, a little bit of film that I did see. I mean, these guys are flying around and they're making plays, and that's the biggest part of, being efficient on any level, as far as whether it's offense or defense. If you go out there and you're efficient enough to get off the field when it's time to, and offense to convert those downs when it's time to, that's how you get yourself in those 19 rankings or even lower. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing they have a safety that's basically leading that thing back there, letting them know everything back here. It's air control back here. And when you throw it back here, you got to see the me. And he's playing lights out. He's in the run game. He's effective in the run game and the passing game. And collectively together, they efficient enough to go out there and be where they at.
I think if you really want to see how they're going to try to attack us, after the quarterbacks I've looked at them play, Josh Allen look at the scheme they had for Josh Allen. That's going to be the scheme they're going to have for Jaden Daniels. I think it is.
I think when you look at, I'm glad, Tana, you said the scheme, and Fred, you talked about the personnel. Like when you go through their list of personnel, there's very few people that nationally you would recognize. I mean, Zaven Collins from a first-round pick. Dennis Gardak, some people know who that is, led the team in sacks last year. Buda Baker is kind of the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Everybody else is
trying to find their way.
They're good players, but they're not like household names. But I will say, Nick Gannon, the head coach, defensive coordinator, this scheme is the most complicated scheme we've played so far this year. The Commanders have played so far this year.
You think more than Todd Bowles?
Dude, they are locked in from a zone pressure standpoint, simulated pressure standpoint. It's like, so basically they got 2 picks versus Jared Goff. They forced a fumble versus Bills guy
Josh
Allen. And they got 2 picks on Matthew Stafford. And why is that? It's because when you go pre-snap, they've got, let's say, 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. They're bringing 4 of those guys. The other 4 are dropping out, and they're able to get to some good coverage structures. Because Buda Baker, I've seen him be on the line of scrimmage and play half. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like old Troy Polamalu stuff. So there's times where guys are like, this is where the ball should go, and then there's Dennis Gardak dropping into the hole, right, as the extra hook player. Like they brought a zone pressure versus the Detroit Lions where it looks like it should be there, right? They're blitzing these 5 guys. They don't run a replacement fire zone. So Gardak, who's the outside linebacker, drops out. The tight end beats the plug player across his face, and Gardak's like literally right there.
So just throw it to me.
Just throw it right to me. And so I look at the way they bring 6-man pressures, the way they bring 5-man pressures, the way they simulate pressure, and there is space. There's a lot of air in this defense, but a lot of times you don't know exactly where the air is going to be.
But see, when somebody's doing those zone blitzes like that, the way to really wake us up on defense is to widen the splits of the wide receivers, move the splits outside the numbers,
which Cliff has done a great job of.
And that'll
I didn't even think about that. That's a great point.
They're gonna create space. They're gonna create
because they can't get to their spots.
They can't get to their spots. It's like Cliff is gonna understand. All right, if this is what you're gonna do, Terry, get ready to play 2 yards away from the line. I mean, the sideline. You too, Noah Brown. And we're gonna run nothing but these slanting goals. And we're gonna get you out of there.
Yeah, and because that's what they've been really successful with. So if they get you to 3rd down, like, man, it's a little bit confusing because you're like, this looks like what they're gonna do, and then sometimes this became popular like 3 or 4 years ago where they run a fire zone, but you bring 6. So you have 2 underneath zone.
So that the end ain't dropping no more. Yeah. He's going to be part of the
And
rush.
then those 2 zone players match quarterback eyes, and that creates a ton of problems from a protection standpoint and then from a coverage standpoint because they're overloading your vision zone.
Yeah.
Even though they have 2. So they do some really cool stuff.
And it stops you from running screens. That's what that zone blitz is very good at.
Point. Yeah.
It takes your screen game away.
French has got a bunch of good points today.
No. That's everything.
He got his thinking cap on.
No, I'm just saying though, because we majored in zone blitzing and do it. So I know how teams used to attack us and what's the answers. Because every defense got a weakness. Now we can play the screen very good with that, but we also when you hit us in that weak spot, them where the big plays come from. Like if you look up and find that window, it's the big plays over there.
And then you kind of you got to stuff that ball in our running backs' belly because that's where you're going to be effective at when you got a team that's doing all this stuff. You got to run the football because now you get them out of those funky looks because they don't know what's coming at them. And one of the things that Cliff showed last week is where he can show you one thing and do something totally different. So Cliff is gonna be Cliff against that guy. You know what I mean? Basically saying, and he's gonna have a what on boy for these guys. Like I see what y'all doing, but I'm here to ruin this party. You know what I mean? Whatever you thought you had going on, I'm finna show you. And that's the luxury we have though, bro. Like
with this whole coaching staff,
not even the coaching staff. With Jaden Daniels being dynamic with his legs, you don't know when it's coming. And if you sitting back there thinking that I got to worry about just him putting that thing in the belly, now you got to worry about when he take it out. Yeah. And that's the luxury we have, and that's what I love. That's what brings this offense to where it's at today. Because when you're thinking that they're gonna be, hey, they finna just get this. No, he might do something totally different because you have a lethal quarterback back there that can run at any given time.
And I'm really glad you brought up Josh Allen because that's what Josh Allen did. Like there was a couple times you could tell he was confused. He didn't see it perfectly, and he's running 20 yards for a first down. Yeah. Because the zone guys are dropping with their back.
They have to.
And then the other thing he was not afraid of was like hitting the little quick slant windows. Yeah. The guys with good yak ability. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like they have James Cook, is that his name? The running back up there? Yeah.
Oh, they hit him a couple. Special this week. They
hit him a couple times on just some like little checkdowns. Slants. And the zone guys aren't kind of right where they're supposed to be. There. And ends up being an explosive play. Yeah. So I do think that, that's again, Fred was just so spot on with his analysis for this. But like those zone pressures, trusting the quarterback's legs, right? Yeah. Trusting what he sees. If you don't love it, let's get out of there. And again, I wonder if after giving up 30 points to Josh Allen, they say, maybe we don't bring as much zone pressure. Maybe we do something different. Yeah. And so are you ready for their counter to that, which is something interesting.
But the animal, still an animal. You can't change his stripes.
Yeah, that's a great point because that's who he is.
That's who he is. So if y'all going to be zone blitz, I got to play it. I got to play what I call quick to deep. I got to hit these quick slants, and I got to go full vertical. If I continue to go full vertical, no matter if I'm hitting it or not, I start to stretch you. I start to stretch that zone blitz.
Yeah, so I think that's something, again, really interesting matchup, and I think a really interesting matchup for Jaden Daniels too, because like I thought he did a great job with Lou Anarumo's defense. I think Cliff did a great job calling the game, so he didn't have to do too much heavy lifting. Lou Anarumo is a kind of a master coverage disguise guy. Yeah. Nick Gannon is a master, at least from what I've seen, on third down of bringing pressures and filling zones. So it's going to be a different kind of intellectual challenge for Jaden. And hopefully he's ready to go. And like you said, I think Cliff's going to have something in his bag.
Yeah, and the question is, does Cliff still own that fresh?
Oh, he in the house right now.
He got the coaches there for dinner.
They up there right now. They up there right now. They probably going to practice. They said they're going to do their meetings at his crib.
You might as well.
Let's use this thing before I sell it.
All right, so obviously we're super excited for this Arizona game, and I mean, it would just be tremendous
to go get another win.
If they came back,
which is very possible.
Yes, doable.
And kudos to ownership for sending these guys out there on the short week early, letting them get acclimated. Kudos to them for saying winning above everything. Yeah. Coach, you tell me what you need, and I'm gonna get it. All right, simple as that.
And a happy kind of coincidence is like they don't have to be here in DC with all this kind of circus going around that Monday night win. They're like They're by themselves.
No,
they're
guess
locked
what?
in.
So nobody get to put them on the pedestal.
Yeah.
It's just like right back to work, lunch pail.
I mean,
all right, let's go.
It's hard with all these social media outlets and posts because I'm like, my phone just Washington Commanders. I'm like, look how they do you. See, you know what I'm saying? Don't drink the Kool-Aid,
Don't
fellas.
drink it. Nobody asked us to the prom last year. You know what I'm saying? We was ugly.
Yeah, but I think that's a great point, Fred. Like, this is not a cheap trip for them, and for the ownership to be like, this is what it takes to win.
Yeah.
This is what Dan says it takes to win.
You got to appreciate it.
what it's
You got to
about.
appreciate stuff that you ain't had.
And that's different than what it's been. And everyone talks about, it's the same.
Ain't nothing the same.
This is different.
Yeah.
This is different. That's going to do it for today's show. I feel like we're forgetting something, Fred, though. What are we forgetting? What do we normally do at the end of the show?
I think that my coat is probably made of the stuff that's on this mic thing. Right?
It looked like it.
So, yeah, usually we do hell yeah or
Hell no.
hell nah. We're not going to do it today.
Oh.
We're going to do it on the Command Center show.
Okay.
Which is going to air on YouTube tomorrow and WCA 9 at 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you want to see hell yeah or hell nah,
Yeah.
Hell no.
which is a big part, and if your fans love it,
Yeah.
make sure you check out the Command Center show either on YouTube or at WSA 9
Yeah.
at 11:30. So that's it. Make sure you check it out.
To the na.